Hello, my name is Bo Gavin, and today I'll be teaching you how to cook and butter-basted steak. Mark Twain once said, "A mighty porterhouse steak, an inch and a half thick, hot, sputtering from the griddle, dusted with pepper, enriched with little melting bits of butter is one of the best tastes you can get." And I couldn't agree more. That's why I'm teaching you how to make the steak tonight. First, we'll be getting into pre-steak prep and what cut of steak you want. Second, we'll be getting into cooking the steak. Third, we'll be getting into butter basting the steak. And then fourth, we're getting into resting the steak and why that's so important. Step one, the cut of the steak is one of the most important things of all time. There's filet, ribeye, porterhouse, and T-bone. Either one you can go, it's just depending on preference of flavor and tenderness. In my opinion, I believe filet is the best due to the flavor of the meat. I also think when picking out the steak, you want to pick a thing out called marbling. This is fat laced all throughout the steak. The more you have of this, the more flavor and tenderness you're going to get in the steak, and that's why it's so important. For seasoning the steak, you can either use sauce or dry rub. In my option today, I'll be using salt and pepper just due to its basic and easy, and this is where you're going to get the most basic, delicious steak flavor. The second step will be cooking the steak and seasoning it actually. You'll put your salt and pepper all over the steak on all sides, rub it everywhere, get it super deep in there so it actually cooks through the steak and you get that maximum amount of flavor. You're gonna get the sides as well. And then step three, you're gonna put the steak on the pan like so, and you're gonna press the steak on the sides of the pan for about a minute and a half each. This will give you a nice thick brown crust on the steak, allowing for a crunchy crust and a tender middle, allowing you to have a very delicious flavor. Step three is you're gonna leave the steak on the grill for however long until it takes to cook. You're gonna check it through the internal temp and flip it so one side doesn't get burnt and you get equal temp. And then by the way, there's 4 different types of cooking you can do. You can go from rare to well done, and this will give you, depending on how cooked and chewy you want it throughout, rare, medium well, and well done. In my opinion, medium rare is the best, and that's what most people like their steaks to be cooked at. Step 3 would be resting and then butter basting. You're gonna let the steak rest after you take it off for 2 to 3 minutes. This is when you throw your stick of butter in the griddle, and you'll have olives, cloves, and garlic in there as well. This is when you're going to put the steak in the pan. You're going to have the steak riding up on top of the pan while the butter is down here. You're going to flick the butter on top of the steak so the butter gets really enriched in there. It can sink into the steak meat, giving your steak a really juicy and tender flavor. After that, you're going to cook the steak in the butter for about 1 to 2 more minutes, allowing it to really soak in that liquid and have a really beautiful steak. After that, you're going to take off the steak, and you have to let the steak rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. This allows the seasoning and sauce to really be and stay in your steak, because if you cut it open too early, those seasoning and sauces will fall out of the steak and you won't be achieving the flavor you're intended to have on that steak. Thank you. My name is Bill Galvin, and that's how you cook a steak.